Welcome to Ram Chowder. My name is Brian Andrew. I'm joined by Lex Torres. How do you do, my friend?
Good, good. Things are well. I just became a puppy parent recently, but as Brian and I like to call it, a parent.
It's just parenting.
So yeah, things are good.
I have a real kid, and I will say that having a dog is makes you a parent.
Nice, nice. I respect it. I respect it.
Yeah,
I was sweating on where you were going with that.
I have both,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and you don't stop being a puppy parent.
I respect that. I respect that. That means a lot coming from you since you do have one of each, which is amazing.
So, the Rams finished up their draft. Uh, we've had some stuff going on in our lives, so we took a couple of weeks off,
Yep.
and we decided, well, maybe the Rams will do something, and they have not.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the recent transactions are the draft picks plus their undrafted picks, which I don't think we need to spend too much time on there. Maybe we'll start talking about that more during training camp when we see if somebody stands out.
yeah,
But we can stick to the rest of the draft. We did an episode on Ty Simpson. If you want to go watch that or listen
yeah.
to that, I was not happy with the pick. 2 weeks later, I'm less mad, still not happy.
Gotcha.
So, do you want to add anything about Ty Simpson before we head on to and talk about these other picks?
Yeah, just like one quick thing about Ty Simpson. Something interesting to note since we did talk about him and talk about the pick, the Ram side of things, Sean McVay's perspective, from our perspective, right? We talked about that a lot last episode. Just like one mini update that I found more interesting, maybe even a little bit more reassuring, is that Sean McVay, and I wish I had the source here, but I heard that Sean McVay, it came out that he actually met with Ty Simpson for a couple of hours, multiple hours, before they drafted him. So just kind of like one of those, just kind of like interview meetings, just to see if they like what they see, type of deal. And that does tell me, okay, maybe the Rams were a little more um prepared to draft a quarterback than we thought. Does it justify uh Ty Simpson at pick number, what was it,
13.
13, right? Does it justify that?
That's where I would go with this
Yeah,
is it's
yeah.
not about necessarily who you get in the draft, it's about the value of the
Mhm.
pick. I'm not going to compare the NFL draft and scouting players in college the same as doing fantasy football, but
Yeah.
there's a difference between reaching and reaching
Yeah, yeah.
and reaching.
Yeah.
And I will say, for being an F them picks franchise, I really do feel like drafting Ty Simpson at 13 is just disrespectful for the whole draft process in general. Because if they really wanted Ty Simpson, just trade down.
Yeah.
Just trade down, keep trading down. I've been talking to some Rams fans, and they're like, "Well, I think he would have still gone in the first round." And it's like, okay, if you think so,
Uh-huh.
he wasn't going to go at 13 though.
Correct.
So if to make yourself feel better about it, do you trade down to like 17, 18, 19 and pick him there? And then if that were the case, Makai Lemon wasn't off the board yet.
Yeah.
He didn't get drafted to 20.
Yeah.
Um, so I would have probably still been like, hey, even if you're at 20, you should still get Makai Lemon. But
Yeah. Yeah. I got a
I
question for you.
yeah.
Let's say Makai Lemon gets picked at 20, and
Mm-hmm.
let's just say the Rams ended up trading down to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Do you is drafting Ty Simpson still a reach, or do you feel like you could at least make sense of it in your mind at
I
21?
would be frustrated that they had pick 13,
Yeah.
went all the way down to 21, and then let Makai Lemon go 20. Because then I would have
Uh,
probably felt like they got sniped at the pick, and they
gotcha.
and they
Yeah.
settled for Ty Simpson, which this whole process makes me feel like they settled for Ty Simpson regardless. So,
Yeah.
but if they traded down, they would have probably got an extra, let's just say fifth, sixth round pick or something.
Yeah.
Like who cares? You
Hmm.
and or they would have swapped with somebody. I don't know. It's just I feel like the value of the pick, I feel like they could have probably waited to the second round if you really thought he was that guy. You could have probably got a Kenyon Sadiq, Makai Lemon, or somebody
Mhm.
at 13. And if you
Yeah,
really, really, really like Ty Simpson, you could have traded maybe next year's first round pick. Because if you're wasting first round picks this year, it doesn't matter if you're wasting next year's, right? You trade
yeah,
next year's first round pick, and then you get an early second round pick, or you get a late first round pick, and you get Ty Simpson. You could have probably got both. And I think that's
yeah,
where I get a little bit like about it because then they go Max Clare with the second round pick. They're all about their tight ends. And to me, I'm like, if you really wanted a tight end and you want to do your 13 man personnel thing, then you could have got Kenny Sadiq. Like, there was better players on the board throughout this whole process.
yeah.
But am I upset with the second round pick? I'm not. It's just, I think Ty Simpson set uh, uh, a downer for me for the rest of the
Yeah,
draft because they kept on putting myself in this position of like the Rams need to really bat 100. I don't know if that's
yeah,
actually really bad. They need to
yeah,
bat
yeah.
they need to bat 1,000 the rest of the draft, right?
The Rams really need to get sent down to the minors.
Yeah, the Rams drafted like a quad A player. Like
Yeah. Quad A.
and the thing is like some of these picks I think are going to pan out because the way I look at it is Ty Simpson, his college resume, it's not very long. I've seen quarterbacks have worse college resumes come into
Yeah.
the league and actually develop into a really good quarterback. I've seen
Nice.
quarterbacks have better resumes than Ty Simpson and then come to the league and just absolutely suck. If
Yeah.
you're going to be a quarterback in the NFL, you keep in mind Sean McVay has made something out of Jared Goff, who was really stumbling in the Jeff Fisher team. Then
Yeah.
he rejuvenated the Baker Mayfield and
Mm.
he just had a 37-year-old MVP, right?
Yeah.
So Sean McVay knows how to develop quarterbacks, knows how to get the most out of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not concerned about that. It's just I felt like they could have improved this year's team, and they ended up taking a tight end. And I feel in a group full of tight ends, I know Ferguson can maybe be more of a hybrid guy, but you have Higbee,
Yeah.
Parkinson, Ferguson, and now Claire.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's a little bit like if you really wanted to do the 13 personnel and actually maximize it, you
Mhm.
shouldn't have gone to Kenyon Sadiq. And
Yeah.
I and if I if and I would have understood it. I would have understood if they took him over Makai Lemon actually, because I
Yeah.
would have been like, oh, I see what you're trying to do now. Because he's more of a hybrid, tight end kind of guy. But they go with Max Lair, and I think it's going to look like it's good because I think everyone's going to eat in that room, that tight end room. Everyone's going to eat a little bit, and he's going
Yeah.
to eat a little bit, and it's going to look good in comparison because everyone's going to kind of be on equal level.
Yeah.
And so I think the pick's going to look fine. And that's how the whole draft feels. Then the Rams. Do you have any thoughts on Max Lair before we move on?
No, yeah, I think my initial thoughts were similar to something you touched on, which it was already such a packed tight end room. And I believe our oldest tight end we just gave like a larger contract to, right? And so it just feels crowded now. I do see what you're saying though. Like the second it's always that thing, right? Where we already have Kyron Williams, but the second Blake Corum scores a touchdown, we're like, oh my gosh, he's gonna lose his job tomorrow, right? I think anytime Max Clare, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, there it is. Anytime Max Clare, to your point, right, makes a big catch or scores a touchdown, it's gonna be like, oh wow, like this is he's gonna dethrone all of our tight ends, right, the next day. And so I do see that where he's kind of set up to succeed. But I mean, I do like tight end at second round.
Hmm.
I never thought of that. I thought of the Sadiq comparison though. If yeah, if we wanted tight end, we might as well have just chosen him. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at our round two pick for sure.
Because I'm in the camp, and someone's gonna tell me I'm full of crap. I don't care. You probably could have got Kenny Sadiq at 13 if you really wanted Ty Simpson. You still could have got Ty Simpson somehow, and you could have had both.
Yeah.
but they was like, we'll just, and maybe they were trying to, and like I said, they like to run those packages where they have like three tight ends on the field.
Yeah.
Sure, you're adding some depth there, but you could have probably got another tight end later in the draft.
Mm,
If it was important for you to take in the second round, it would have been important for you to take in the first round too.
exactly. Exactly.
But in the third round, they got Keegan Trost. I think
Mm,
at that point was their best pick so far.
mhm.
I feel like I would say he's probably in line to be able to. I think he's a tackle.
Yeah.
We could have used some tackle help there, especially with the retirement of Havenstein. So great pick.
Yeah.
Then they don't have a fourth or fifth round pick, and then they trade up to get C.J. Daniels, which at this point, this is where I feel like the Rams are kind of cooking a little bit.
Gotcha.
C.J. Daniels, is he the best wide receiver in the draft? Waiting for the sixth round to get a wide receiver. So I will say this:
Hmm.
we all went into the draft thinking wide receiver three was the biggest hole.
Yeah.
They did not address that in this draft. I understand getting a sixth round pick to maybe potentially be that because keep in mind Puka Nacua was a fifth round pick, so it's not
Yeah.
like it's out of the realm that CJ Daniels can maybe step up to that position.
Yeah.
And I think he's gonna be good. I think he's gonna be great, but I don't think he's the answer, and we'll get into that later in the pod.
Yeah.
And I think they actually got a really good player in team and Tim Keenan at the end of the draft.
Nice.
I actually think they finished the draft with their last three picks really well. But they only had the five picks, and I kind of feel like they dropped the ball with the first two. Not saying that Ty Simpson's going to be a bad quarterback. Not saying Max Clare is going to be a bad tight end. Just
Hmm.
feel like there's a certain level of value you need to have with your picks, and
Hmm.
I just felt like since they reached on Ty Simpson, it put them in a spot where they felt like they had to get Max Clare,
Yeah.
and then they had to draft an offensive lineman in the third round, which I think is fair, and then C.J. Daniels later. So,
Yeah.
you have any thoughts before we move on?
No, yeah, I think I do like that we at least picked up one wide receiver. Yeah, to your point, the Puka Nacua comparison is always like alive in my mind, and I'm sure in a lot of Rams fans' minds, right? We always hear like anytime he does anything great, and not off the court stuff, right? Or quote unquote. But we're always reminded like, oh yeah, and he was a fifth round pick, right? And he rose to this. So I do like that like possibility, right? You never know. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely a fan of the offensive tackle and the defensive tackle picks. If just for the sake of comparison, where like as far as the O line versus D line, where do you feel like we improved most? Do you feel like Tross is the better addition or Keenan is the better addition
I would
to the
say
Rams?
I would say Trost, just simply
Oh,
because he's someone I think could probably fill in if someone gets
mhm.
hurt. Keenan, I think we're kind of I wouldn't say we're extremely deep at defensive tackle, but
Yeah.
we're we're deep enough where he could either not play at all or he'll get some moments, or if he shows up in training camp and looks really good,
Hmm.
he might get some playing time. And he might get more playing time than Trost, but I think
Yeah.
Trost has more value to the team being in his position.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
So the draft's over. I don't know how many Rams fans are completely satisfied. I'm not here to glaze the Rams and say like everything they do is great, but they do happen to draft and scout really well in the draft.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna sit here in what is it like year seven or so
Hmm.
year eight of the Sean McVay Les Need era
Yeah.
to keep in mind Les Need was part of some of those Jeff Fisher teams, but uh, I'm not gonna sit here in this era and just say like, oh, like they suck at this and they're not good and they shouldn't keep trying.
Hmm.
But this was probably one of the more frustrating drafts I think I watched as a fan because I feel like it was a slam dunk. Your team's
Hmm.
pretty much Super Bowl ready. You just needed to kind of just fine tune some things. And even if you use a first round pick on Sadiq, Lemon, or whoever, and you don't even use them quite right away because you brought in a veteran, who cares?
Yeah.
It's but Ty Simpson is for sure only playing if Stafford gets hurt.
Yeah.
Whereas another player could beat out. Like, there's no way we're going to training camp and Simpson's like, I'm going to beat out Stafford for this job.
Yeah.
But there is a chance where, let's just say we bring in ex veteran wide receiver, and then Lemon, Sadiq, or whoever beats that guy out for
Yep.
playing time. That could
Yep.
happen. That could technically happen in training camp.
Hmm.
So I feel like the Rams took that away. They're like, hey, we're just gonna have Max Clare, who all he has to do is beat out whoever for some playing time, which he'll probably get some this year. But
Yeah.
yeah, so what's next? Do you feel like they need to still go out there and get a wide receiver three in free agency?
So my initial what's next? My initial feelings after the entire draft is completed now is that it was kind of like it, my liking towards the Rams picks got better and better, right? And I feel like you had like a similar feeling towards that, right? Like you're kind of like, okay, maybe some of these later picks were cooking, right? Um, and I did, I'll be honest, like to the Rams credit, I did have to really think, okay, what is next? What do I feel like they're missing? And I'm gonna kind of have to, honestly, after like 10 seconds of thinking about it, it did kind of hit me. I'll have to default back to one of our earlier conversations on a previous episode and a previous take I had where I think it is still gonna have to be wide receiver. And we'll call it wide receiver three, right? As you mentioned earlier. And I feel like I don't know, I'd be happy if the Rams signed one more player and I'd be happy if it was at the wide receiver position. Um, what about you? Do you feel like there's any specific position missing? Are you comfortable post draft?
Comfortable? No. Well, if they went into next season as is, I think they would still be a top three-ish team in the
Hmm.
league, no matter what. Probably on paper still the best team in the NFL. It's just, could we make a couple mistakes and lose to the Seahawks again? Probably.
Yeah,
So right now they have Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, and then at wide receiver three, it's either Jordan Whittington, which I like,
hmm,
Xavier Smith, which outside of his punting issue or his punt
yeah,
return issue,
yeah,
good. They also have, and I would probably say so. Wide receiver three is between Winnington, Xavier Smith, and Mumpfield. I'd
yep,
probably say those are the three. And then you have some other players like C.J. Daniels, who they just
yep,
drafted, and
yep.
then they have other players that were more practice squad as like Mario Williams,
Hmm.
former USC player by the way,
Nice.
came
Yeah,
from Oklahoma. Then I think he went to Tulane.
nice.
I would say they should improve it. I really do feel like they could gut some of that weight off the team too in terms of wide receiver as well.
Yeah.
Um, I would like to see CJ Daniels succeed, but doesn't have to be this year
Hmm.
necessarily. Hey, if he's a breakout wide receiver, he's a breakout wide receiver. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. I do feel like in the draft they should have tried to, and maybe they just didn't see anybody that they liked, but they should have addressed the fact that you have two really good cornerbacks and your third string, or I guess the next guy up, kind of is Forbes. And out of the corners that we had last year,
Yeah.
Forbes was maybe one of the least impressive ones. So like him being the next guy up, he has NFL
Hmm.
experience. I'm not mad at it, but it would be nice if they had another piece there. Doesn't necessarily have
Yeah.
to be a veteran. I would have preferred that they drafted at that position actually. But so I think they still need to add a corner, and I still think they need to add a wide receiver three. And at least somebody, like we had this conversation,
Hmm.
somebody that they could bring in. And if a CJ Daniels or Winnington or whoever actually has a better training camp, then they
Yeah.
have a better training camp. And you can put that player at wide receiver three, right? I and wide receiver three doesn't necessarily mean slot receiver. It just means the third receiver. I understand that they do the 13 personnel. They have like three tight ends on the field, which
Yeah.
means that a third wide receiver is not entirely necessary.
Mhm.
But I wouldn't want Devontae Adams to get hurt, and then the next guy up is one of the three guys we mentioned.
Yeah.
So I do think they need to address it. Is there anybody top of mind that you might think they will bring in?
So, um, again, referencing a past point I had made, this is kind of inspired on the fact that we were at least rumored to have been maybe close to talks or closing a deal, or at least like in deep talks for AJ Brown. Um, that tells me that the Rams know that they have kind of a hole to fill for wide receiver, and uh, and so when thinking of that type of caliber of player who uh, maybe has had maybe just like one struggle of a season in recent memory, but and it could signify a decline. Maybe they could bounce back this year. I feel like there's a similar one in the free agency, and I wouldn't be mad if the Rams signed Stephon Diggs, and just because I feel like if memory serves me correct, Stephon Diggs had his kind of decline season 2 seasons ago, and then last season it felt like there was like a sign of a sign of hope, right? To kind of do a little bounce back. Um, I could see that type of signing being one of those that's like right in the middle of training camp, or like closer to the start of the season. Um, but yeah, I imagine Stephon Diggs could be a good one. I don't know why, but I can see this happening where the Rams sign like an Alec Pierce, for example. Uh, but uh, but Diggs would probably be my interesting pick.
Uh,
What about you?
Stephon Diggs just was found. Uh, he was just acquitted, found not guilty for his assault earlier. So he
Today,
he still might get some discipline from the
gotcha.
NFL. But which brings me to my idea was why not Tyreek Hill? Yeah, I know he had a serious injury. I know he's not fully cleared yet.
Mhm.
He might not be ready by week one, but it's a big name. It's a jersey you could sell, and you could put him in that slot. You could run some gadget plays for him,
Yeah,
and he might not be as fast or as quick or as agile as he used to be, but he probably doesn't have to
yeah,
be your third option. And
yeah.
worst case scenario, a Weddington beats him out or Mumfield beats him out.
Mhm.
And also to throw it out there too, signing Tyreek Hill also sets the team up that they will go into week one or two
Mhm.
with one of those wide receivers. Maybe it's a CJ Daniels. Maybe he
Yeah.
beats everybody else out. And you get the first couple weeks with one of those guys as a wide receiver there. And then when Tyreek Hill comes back, he has to beat one of those guys out for the spot.
Mhm.
So Tyreek Hill is someone that I'm kind of like looking at as like, he seems like the veteran. Remember when we signed Odell Beckham,
Yeah.
just kind of but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Um
No, yeah. Sounds like a
is it
fun signing.
yeah, is there anything else you feel like the Rams need to do this offseason outside of alternate uniforms and
Oh, yeah, that's still the last announcement really that we need, right? As far as the uniform side of things, it's the the ones that were hinted, right, as still blank slates, the last two. Um
I
yeah,
just
that'd be cool.
I
Oh,
just
did
read
you
that Alec Pierce has a 4-year extension with the Colts.
Oh, dang. Yeah, there it is. Well, my Rams and my Rams and Pierce collaboration and dreams have been crushed,
In
unfortunately.
about 2 minutes. It's all right.
Yeah, yeah.
The one player that I'm actually kind of intrigued by, but I don't think they would do it,
uh,
is Brandon Ayuk is
yeah,
supposedly going to get traded away from the 49ers. They're looking for someone to take him off their hands.
yeah.
I understand there'd be a higher tax to do it within the division,
Hmm.
but he would probably be, in terms of age, one of the better options instead of getting the older Stephon Diggs or getting the older Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
So that's someone that I would be intrigued by. I understand they most likely wouldn't trade in division like that, but
Yeah.
if I'm listening, I would at least call
Right.
and be like, hey, so you trying to get him off your team? We're willing to take him on.
Yep.
But I don't think the 49ers want that energy if like Brandon Ayuk all of a sudden is really good and it happens to be for your rival.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna lose a lot of faith from your fans.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, I think like real training camp is a month and a half away.
Yeah.
I believe I don't know where it's at. Believe they officially are in Thousand Oaks now.
Oh.
So
That
maybe
starts
this starts in
this
July.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think they went to Thousand Oaks last year, so they were in Irvine for a while. I went to a few of those and went
Yeah.
with you once, I believe.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then last year the Saints were in Irvine,
Hmm.
and the Rams went to Thousand Oaks, and I believe the Chargers were in Costa Mesa all these years, and they're officially in El Segundo.
Oh.
And then the Cowboys are always in Oxnard,
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
that's why
Those.
the Rams and the Cowboys always have like a little scrimmage.
Oh,
That's
yeah, at the beginning. Yeah. 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 I just remember like Aaron Donald taking off his helmet like again at the scrimmage against the
oh yeah.
Cowboys.
So yeah, maybe we'll stop by. Maybe we'll do something. If you're available in July, Lex, I think that would be
There
fun.
it is. Yeah, you heard it here first. Ram Chowder at training camp. So hopefully, if they need a wide receiver eight,
Yeah,
maybe one of us will get the call. We'll see.
they'll be like, hey, that's the guy that was crapping on our Ty Simpson pick. Don't let him in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
You're
know.
the,
Yeah, I would.
you don't have a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
views yet, but we're one of them.
yeah.
Don't. On that
Uh,
note, you got anything you want to promote?
yeah. So make sure to follow us at Ram Chowder. As far as the Lex side of things, I'm at also on social media at Lex the Catcher for all Pokemon related things. And then what do you have to promote for today?
Uh, LA Clips Forum. It's if you want to hate on it, go for it. If you want to love it, love it. We will have an episode this Sunday because it's the NBA draft lottery. We traded with the Indiana Pacers, and if the pick ends up being fifth or sixth, it goes to the Clippers. So the way the NBA does things is really weird.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on that note, it's in the middle of May. This is probably the dog days of the NFL offseason. So I appreciate you guys. You guys could be doing anything with your time, but you spent it with us. We appreciate it. We're out. We'll be back soon.